So I've literally left the campsite. It's 1:30. It took me hours and hours and hours to dry everything. This is day 7. I'm on my way to Cromer from Great Yarmouth. One thing I forgot to report on my general reportings yesterday was the front wheel of the pod. I don't know if you can see, but the spokes. I pinged 3 spokes yesterday, and then many more than that. The wheel would have just bent in two. So we're currently, Halford's very luckily had a front wheel, which is here. Doesn't have a disc brake attachment, but those disc brakes are useless anyway. So now I've got to get this tyre off here and put it on there. Oh, it's never a dull day. Well, here I am in a sunny Cromer, staying with Jonathan and Billy Crabtree, who very kindly put me up for Saturday night. I got here yesterday after a 70k ride, and had a lovely night's sleep in there. Spare bedroom is such a super house and so beautifully appointed. But sadly, their fat chum Ailith has turned up and turned their front of their house into an absolute pikey yard. I probably shouldn't say that's not politically correct, but anyway, I think we all know what I mean. So the pod day before yesterday got really wet, and I can't stress how wet it was. It was over 80 kilometres in driving rain, and I suspected that it might be quite wet underneath the floor. So the way it works in there is that I've got a Celotex floor, under which are my clothes in plastic bags and the batteries and the controllers and all the rest of it, but the front section seems to get wet, and I knew this before setting off. So it's really just a matter of trying to stay on top of it. I'm about to go off to B&Q and get some silicone and try and silicone everything up again. I've got some aluminium tape. I'll try and use that as well, so the next deluge the pod doesn't get so wet inside. I don't mind getting wet, but the stuff inside, the clothing and more importantly the electronics. But anyway, the clothing stayed dry thanks to Sarah's brilliant putting everything in polythene. But so this is just an idea of how much gear I carry inside the pod. So there's the back of the pod, and that's got the normal stuff in it. So I haven't taken anything out of the back of the pod. In fact, yeah, no, that's fairly standard. It's just jolly messy. But the following lives inside the pod. Here we have my chair. That's part of the clothing, my gilet thing. My duvet's airing out because everything's a bit damp and musty. That Celotex there is part of the floor, goes over the engine. There's 3 boxes of clobber. One's food, one's crockery, one's spare parts. There's the charger on top there, my pillows, my lavatory, which I still haven't used and I'm carrying around. Do I need to? ? Another box of bits. The feet that the pod sits on are these grey things. So I elevate the thing with a scissor jack, and it sits on those before I get in it, so I don't break the axles and wheels with my enormous girth. In that suitcase are loo rolls, kitchen roll and drugs. That plastic sheeting which is hanging over the door, I've taken off, that goes on top of the mattress and the duvet when I pack everything in there, so everything doesn't get too grotty. Here are my clothes, which never normally come out, in their plastic bags. The charging cable, which I need to plug in soon. That's the front end of the Celotex. I broke a wheel yesterday. I don't know if you can see those spokes. 1, 2, 3. I think it's 4. 4 completely rotten spokes there. And it was getting worse by the mile, so I popped to Halfords and bought this bad boy, and hopefully that'll be a bit. There's more spokes on it for starters. I think it's a bit sturdier. I hope it is anyway. Anyway, continuing down the line, this stuff all lives in the bike, and that's my waterproofs airing out on there. My orange cape, which I love, gloves, the panniers, and my waterproof feet, the bag that covers the bike at night, and 3 bottles of water. That all lives on the actual bike. Finally, my mattress, which I need to shake out because it's covered in bits of grass. So, and there's my beautiful bike. So you get an idea of the colossal amount of rubbish that I'm carrying around. But I'm living in it for 3 months, so it's not entirely surprising. That's the actual gubbins, and nobody's really seen this yet. Well, Ollie and I have. It's all Ollie's hard work. So those 4 silver boxes in the back are all battery modules. They're 4 parallel 3 series 11 volt units, and they're all 4 wired in series to give me 44 volts, which charges up to 50.2 volts and goes down to 35 volts, blah blah. The couple of smaller boxes there are the controllers, each one controller per wheel, which I programmed with my laptop and give it the parameters. So I've set fairly modest parameters because I don't want to blow the wheels up. Talking of wheels, another new tyre this morning, and because prompted by a puncture, this goo stuff gets you to where you're going, and then you come out in the morning and find a flat tyre. But finally, for this little report, this tyre, which I'm about to show you now, where's the sun? So if you have a look at that tyre, is it coming out? It's very worn. That's 6 days of wear. So 6 days ago, this tyre looks like that. It's quite extraordinary how, well, it's just the weight, and of course they've got motors in and they're driving. I've got to find a better solution. I'm on the case, but I haven't solved it quite yet. Hopefully that'll be a report in the next week that I've solved it, but touch wood. Here I am in my silly hat, my filmy hat. Anyway, lovely riding day today. We're in North Norfolk, just been through Nelson's birthplace, Burnham Thorpe. Anyway, I'm just waiting for two of the 5 Cease brothers and one Nicholas Reed, who are about to cycle past, and some other lovely people, which is all good. There are various ways of cycling. You have your Garmin with your nav on. You have the thing I'm holding, which has Google Maps, or your brother's Cease and your analog. Look at this. This, everybody, is...
This works.
Yes,
Ordnance
it does.
Survey, 7th edition.
There's an advert.
We'd be in Harwich now, thanks to your Garmin.
Guess what? We know what true north is. Magnetic grid north.
I'm turning you off now. 120 kilometres today, but that pales into insignificance. Here we are, the great people of the Sutton Social Club. Hurrah, hurrah, big yourselves up, Sutton Social Club. Well done, you lot. These guys have done a whip round and collected 70 quid or something, which is amazing to go towards the thing. A relatively uneventful ride, except I fell off and hurt my leg, but I'll get over it, I'll man up. But anyway, Sutton Social Club, what a team.